So, over the last 2 weeks since we last talked, I have lost and gained about 8 pounds. So, I am about 2 pounds down right now. The weekend of Mother's Day, we'll start there. I had a really tough Friday. I don't know if I've said this already, but I am rebuilding my business. That's what this channel is about, me rebuilding my life despite the health situation that I'm currently experiencing. For a long time, I'll try to make it brief. For a long time, I was just trying to survive what's been going on, the heart failure and all of that stuff. And I was like deep in depression. I'm pretty sure I shared that already. I was deep in depression, and whatever I have going on was only getting worse. Weight because of how depressed I was. And I don't qualify for a lot of interventions that I might otherwise qualify for because I am too heavy. And I used to be really ashamed to say that. I do still feel a tad bit of shame, but not as much as I used to, and it's just something that I have to address. That's the best I can do with the situation, is just address it, and that's what I'm doing right now. I am currently at my doctor's appointment, so the plan was to record this video prior to the appointment, but now I'm gonna be recording this video before and after the appointment so I can give you a quick rundown. We won't be able to say exactly what's going on or how to fix it today, I don't think, but I will have a better idea of, okay, what's not working. We'll go from there. I'm getting an echocardiogram. I'll probably show you the inside of the office when I get in there, but I'm gonna start heading in now. I'm just here waiting for the doctor to come in and see me. I got my echo done. I was going to the lab, but they said that he wanted to go ahead and see me now. So I turned around, came back from the lab, and I'm still waiting. It's hard to tell when there's an echo if it was good or bad, or how the results are, because the echo techs are not allowed to diagnose anything or make any type of determinations, especially not tell them to a patient. I've been getting these since I was a kid. I'm used to it and I don't even ask questions. I don't expect it to be bad. I feel like it's better to expect the best. So I'm hoping that it has improved and that there's just some other reason that I'm not feeling that great. And sharing my story has really been giving me a lot of motivation and hope. And so I want to thank you for tuning in and listening and helping me to create this safe space that I'm trying to create. I do want to talk about other things, but I do want to document this journey because it is a huge part of my life. It affects my life in more ways than I'll probably ever talk about on this channel, but I'm literally starting from scratch, and I just made 40 in February. I think I made a video about it. I probably did, maybe I didn't. I used to really hate my birthday. I made a video all about that, and part of that was not having very much hope and feeling kind of like it was too late to turn my life around. But I no longer feel that way, and I decided just to focus on what I have to be grateful for. I have 3 kids. I was not expected to have any kids at all. They made an assumption, I would call it now, but they didn't think that I would even be able to handle it. I did have to have my kids in an operating room, well, at least the last 2, I have 3 of them, but I was able to have kids, and I hope I can be a grandma one day. My sister laughs at me because I skipped over wanting to be a parent and just want to be a grandma. I think it's because I love my grandma. I was closer with my paternal grandmother only because I was around her much more. My other grandmother, my maternal grandmother, I love her deeply. I just didn't get as much time with her while she was here because she lives in Nevada. She lived in California for probably the first 3 years of my life, and then she moved back to Nevada, and so we didn't see her very often. The doctor will be here soon, so I'm gonna cut this short and I'll come back with anything pertinent that I find out today. It might just be an ongoing process, but if I have good news, I'll share it with you. I am now at the lab, so I'm supposed to get another procedure tomorrow, and I have to have labs before I can get that to know if my blood is too thin is the best explanation that I can give for that. And so that is why I'm here. I figured I could tell you more about the past 2 weeks. Friday really sucked. I'm rebuilding my business. So I started talking myself out of sticking to the plan and kind of rationalizing going and purchasing junk. And so my kids were on board because they don't have weight problems. And so they were down, and so we ended up going and buying junk, and I ate junk on Friday, but the goal was just to eat it on Friday. But it ended up lasting the whole weekend. And then on Monday, the cravings were still there, and so I did have more sugar than I would have liked even on Monday. Monday night, I really sat with it, and I decided, okay, well, I need to come up with a plan. I am going to have to be a little more strict. And I also have to cope with the fact that I don't process sugar as well, that I need to really be more mindful about my sugar intake. I don't think that I need to apply it so strictly that I just completely quit sugar, because I just don't like the idea of vilifying anything because it's just giving it power. And so instead of doing that, I just want to limit it more than I had planned to. And the reason I was being a lot more lenient starting out is not only because I don't want to vilify anything, but also because with Ozempic, you don't necessarily have to be super strict about any food groups or anything like that, because you just lose your appetite. And so if your appetite is not a problem, or your appetite is so suppressed that you're barely eating, then it matters a lot less what you're eating, which can be a good and bad thing, right? Because it doesn't promote building healthier habits, even though people do say that. I've seen a lot of videos where people were kind of speaking to the fact that it kind of doesn't matter because your appetite is just so suppressed. And I'm still not going to call Ozempic the bad guy, but I did talk to my doctor about it. He thought that it was a wise decision for me to put it on hold. He didn't say that I shouldn't take it. He didn't say that I should either. He thought it was wise for me to put it on hold in light of the problems I was having, with my stomach and not being able to go to the bathroom. What the doctor found, which really excites me, because I was going into this thinking hopefully they can kind of figure out what changed or what's going on, but also hoping that all the progress that I finally started making with my condition, with my heart, wasn't lost. So I was going in expecting the best, that my heart condition will have either improved or stayed the same. And I am very, very glad to report that it has not changed. My heart function is still the same, which is so much better than having it decline, right? But the other thing that I'm really excited about, which might seem weird, but I'll explain, is that the doctor was able to see that I have been going into some unhealthy or abnormal heart rhythms. I've dealt with this stuff for years. It was further complicated by me having the mechanical valve. When you have a mechanical valve, you are more prone to abnormal rhythms. So I've been cardioverted, which is the term for having your heart, when people get like shocked, you see it on the movies or whatever. It's a very similar thing, but it basically puts your heart back into a normal rhythm. He's going to actually refer me to a heart rhythm specialist who would look at different options for dealing with this. And one option that he brought up was to have them go in, and I wish I knew how to explain this better, but if I could think of the name, I'll maybe put it on the screen or something. But it's basically a procedure where they like basically kill the signals that are the abnormal signals that are coming through in my heart. And I've actually had the doctors talk to me about that in the past, but because I had years where I wasn't having any of those other rhythms, they had we had moved on, which is ideal because I don't want to have a procedure if I don't need one. It made me feel so much better. Honest, I've gone to the emergency room before when I was having like symptoms like these, and it almost felt like they were telling me that it was in my head, or like I wasn't being honest. I don't know. I read into things, so they probably weren't saying I was being dishonest, but there was no resolution is the main thing, the main issue I had. Him saying, okay, well, there is this issue, or pointing out an issue that could be causing the problem, was so much more encouraging. And it was validating too, because it's been a struggle. So I actually got this. And this is a 14-day monitor. I don't think there's any difference in them if they're 14 versus 30-day, but he did order 14 days, mostly because the reaction that my skin has to having the monitor on. It won't be activated till later today, so probably not in my next video, but as soon as I have an update, I might even just put it in the community section. So the plan is to be a little more strict about carbs and sugar. Still prioritizing protein and fiber. And I saw a video that talked about prioritizing fiber, which in this current climate, all I ever hear people talk about is protein. I don't really hear people talk a lot about fiber, or I haven't. I just know from experience, it keeps your blood sugar a little bit more stable. It makes it easier to burn fat, especially for people like me who are sedentary, not by choice. Miss the gym, even though I can't afford the gym right now, but I have a gym at home. Not a gym. It's not a gym. Let me be honest. I have weights at home. I even have, here's a throwback. I have the DB method, and I've had it since I lived in, so I've had it probably 6 years, since 2020. I got the DB method, and they were just showing so many different ways to use it. I don't even use my DB method, but I need to. It was an affordable option, and it looked but it was really difficult once I got into heart failure to even get on the thing. So maybe that will have a resurgence once I could tolerate more exercise. And that's not something that I don't think is possible, or that it won't happen anytime soon. I am expecting all the best things. And so I am very hopeful that I'll be able to to use it again. And I have a really nice area to walk in. When it's hot, I do not walk outside, so I can also do, you know, the walking videos. When I first got started losing weight years and years and years ago, I used to walk with and do these walking videos with someone named, I can't remember her first name, but I'm pretty sure her last name is Sanson or something. Sanson. The biggest perspective change has been sustainability. Being able to keep up with whatever I decide to do or the lifestyle I choose, right? I've always thought about sustainability in very black and white terms. When we're first starting these lifestyle plans to direct how we'll eat and how we'll reach our goals, one of the biggest motivations will always be success. Slow, it's very demotivating. It makes you feel like you're suffering for nothing. I had to think about that and keep that in mind as well, because it would help me to stay on track and to be motivated to continue if I was getting results. Another reason why I will be incorporating fasting, and also because fasting, I've just seen it do so much. I've seen it reverse really bad conditions. It's something that I know works from experience. Nothing has to be forever. Like I said, I'm being flexible. Maybe you know this already, but GLP-1 is a hormone that we naturally produce. Eating low fat and low sugar both contribute to the GLP-1 hormone. It suppresses our appetite naturally and helps with the food noise. Now, as for Ozempic, I will not be going back to Ozempic. I'm also celebrating some non-scale victories. After I had 3 days where things got out of control and I ate too much junk, I didn't immediately go into like a 3-day fast or something crazy like that. And even when I had that moment of feeling really defeated by everything, I grabbed that Ozempic pen, but I didn't use it. I stopped and I thought about it. I stopped and thought, if I gave this medicine 4 weeks to work, I can give my body the same. I can give my body some time. It's progress for me. It taught me that, okay, I don't need to jump straight to a fast. I haven't fasted. In fact, I've tried first just going back to the plan, just, keeping the sugar low, keeping the carbs low. I've been eating, protein for a couple of days instead of just straight up going into a fast. And I did that on purpose. What I'm doing now doesn't mean I'm going to do it forever. The goal is to build something sustainable, but that doesn't mean you can't test different things. And I'm handling this differently. When I get on the scale, I'm not taking it as personally. I am not taking it as hard, and I'm not jumping to something less sustainable, something that could be even harmful if done the wrong way. I am instead, going back to the plan, taking my time, being mindful. That is progress for me. So I'm going to be tracking things other than weight, like my appetite, my exercise tolerance. I'm going to be tracking my measurements. I need to get another tape measure probably, or figure out where mine is. I had a measure just for, tracking the inches that I lose, like on my arms. Um, it's not one of the most hated parts for women, but yeah. So I'm going to be tracking these NSVs as extra sources of motivation. So even if I don't lose a pound for a week or something like that, maybe I'll lose inches. There is more to it than discipline, but I accept the challenge. I've done it before. I will do it again. So wish me well. I will see you in the next check in, or even sooner. when I decide what else I want to share, because like I said, I am literally rebuilding my life. What from what feels like scratch, but I have a long way to go to get where I want to be. So let me know in the comments, are you in the middle of any kind of transformation in your life? Are you as old as me? Are you approaching 40, or even older than 40, and just, in your 40s and trying to figure out life? I know that I've been seeing it more and more on YouTube. Maybe there are a lot of us in this kind of place, and it's funny because I'm really into human design, astrology, those kind of things. Could talk all day about those. The year 40 is for women, it is our fifth Venus return. So every 8 years, you have a Venus return. And your fifth one is a real milestone. But anyway, it's a big milestone. And if you're around that age, then you can start to think about it now. But when you hit 40, a lot of women just start to change. You start to reevaluate your life. You start to want new things, try new things. And I've just been seeing so many women on YouTube sharing their stories, sharing what they did to overcome something, have a transformation, and even in their 50s. I mean, it's never too late. And society will make us feel like we're not as valuable once we're older, or when we're over 25 or whatever. Those are usually weirdos anyway, but at the same time, that there's a societal message that women women's value decreases with age, and I'm here to remind you that it doesn't. And this is a reminder to myself as well, because it's part of why I always felt so bad on my birthday and felt so much like there was a ticking time bomb. And now I love that we're seeing more and more women, like, embracing this part of life, because honestly, the amount of things that I just don't give a damn about anymore is so exciting to me. And I kind of been on this road for years, but it just keeps getting better. It just keeps getting better. So if you're almost here, know that you're going to love it. I could be in a better place, and I will be soon, but it's never too late to turn things around. So this is a message for you if you're younger and older than me. Always over here on this channel, but in general, remember that you are loved, and talk to you soon.